My name is Zack George, I'm 30 years old, born and bred in Leicester, owner of CrossFit BFG, and last year I was crowned the UK's fittest man. I first found functional fitness when my dad showed me a YouTube video of the 2013 games, and he said, I think you're going to enjoy this and you'd be pretty good at this sport. So I watched it and was instantly hooked. I just saw athletes doing all sorts of crazy stuff. They were swimming, bar muscle ups, really good at Olympic weightlifting, running, and it just looked so much fun, and immediately it was my goal to one day compete at the games. And all those athletes back then who I watched at the games have inspired me ever since. My proudest achievement is by far being crowned the UK's fittest man and earning my spot at the games in 2020. It was a 7-year dream to compete at the games and to qualify for it, and I finally did, but unfortunately due to the pandemic I wasn't able to actually compete at the games. But yeah, that's definitely by far my proudest achievement. What keeps me motivated is the goals that I set. So my main goal was and has always been to compete at the games, and I've had lots of little goals along the way that I tick off and achieve, and that keeps me motivated along the journey. I find it can be quite daunting if you have a goal that you're aiming for in 2 or 3 years' time. It's very important to set little goals along that way, which keeps you motivated during that time. And for me, those little goals were little competitions to win, or to compete at competitions around the world. And eventually over the years, I worked hard enough every single day to finally achieve the goal of qualifying for the games. COVID's had a big impact on my training season, more so than my training, I'd say. But unfortunately, due to COVID, I wasn't able to compete at the games. So that was a big setback, and it was quite hard at the time. But for me, I'm an extremely positive person, and there's a lot of other people who are affected by COVID worse than I was. People are losing their jobs, a lot of people are losing their lives due to the pandemic. So for me, just not being able to compete at the games in the grand scheme of things wasn't a big deal. But I wanted to turn it into a positive, and hopefully I could inspire as many people in a tough situation during that time. Nutrition is extremely important for any athlete and any human being, really. I luckily have a nutrition coach that looks after all my nutritional macro needs. That's M2 Performance, and I put all my trust into my coach, and he tells me how many macros I should be hitting, and it's very easy for me to hit those macros throughout the day. The best thing for me about competing is the amazing feeling it gives me, but then I also love performing in front of a crowd, in front of the fans, and I'm really buzzing off their energy, and the atmosphere it's hard to describe it. It's something amazing when you're on the floor, you're busting your gut, you're working as hard as you possibly can, and you're severely in that pain cave. And then you can see in the crowd, everyone's cheering for you, everyone's cheering for your name, everyone wants you to do as well as you possibly can. That is such an amazing feeling atmosphere to be involved in, and it's something that's very hard to replicate. Having to pull out during the 2021 season was an extremely tough call, mentally and physically. But injuries happen in sport, you've got to be willing to take that on the chin. It was a hip injury that I sustained probably a couple of weeks before the quarterfinals, and I was trying to get my body ready. I was seeing the physio every single day, and it was a slight tear in my TFL, which was then giving me a lot of IT band issues, and I just couldn't squat any sort of decent weight past 60 kilos. So I needed good workouts in the quarterfinals to come up that weren't very squat dominant. And there was workouts with a 4 max front squat, there was 180 pistols, 120 wall balls. So I tried to do the 4 max front squat just to see if I could push through the pain, and I couldn't even get past 100, 110 kilograms. So I'd normally be hitting around 170 for that sort of 4 max. So I knew straight away I wasn't in good enough shape to complete these workouts. And yeah, it was a very tough call. It was very hard mentally, and for those 3 or 4 days I was sulking on the sofa eating chocolate and sweets, processing that I'm not going to be competing this season. And I think it's very important to go through that process of letting yourself wallow and sulk and just let people know that you're not okay and you need to get through this in your own way. And I gave myself a couple of days just letting it all sink in, and then after those couple of days, I felt much better. I sat down with my team and I said, right guys, let's put a solid plan in place. Let's readjust these goals that we've had for this season. We're going to focus on a different competition at the end of this year, which is going to be a big competition. and then we're going to get a great plan in place again, so I'm even fitter, stronger, and a better athlete for next year and next season. It's not just all doom and gloom if you have a setback. You've got to overcome it, set yourself different goals, and go and attack them. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Myprotein's YouTube channel for lots more fitness content.